Mr.
Sure.
Ken Okozaki, you are a dude that I just absolutely love and adore. I really appreciate you taking the time out today because I know you're going to be sharing literally nuggets of gold with us as we go through. I think what you're doing, Ken, to be perfectly honest, for so many business owners and entrepreneurs right now is fundamental to their business, like absolutely key and fundamental. And you're literally, in my eyes, one of the best about it. So, dude, thank you so much for taking the time for us to be able to do
Thanks for
this.
having me.
So, Ken, the reason why I wanted to record this right now is we're going to be moving from Bali back to Australia in just over 5 weeks. We've got this amazing home that we bought and we haven't even stayed in yet, waiting for us to go back into. And as you can see, why I wanted to record this is because my video right now looks like crap. I'm in a kind of like makeshift home office. Yours looks incredible, like sounds incredible. Everything is just picturesque. And I was like, hey, you know what we should do? I should record with Ken talking about the setup that we should have when it comes to being able to produce content at home or in our offices. And I will literally be able to do a before and after. So you'll see me looking like crap right now, and then we'll be able to have an after effect from the actual advice that you're going to be dishing out today. So that's the reason why I wanted to do this now. And why I think this is so important is because, even as you were saying before we hit record, Ken, that COVID hit and it really changed how we operate and so many people operate with our businesses. We can't go around. I was saying as well, like, I miss you. I really miss you because we used to get together multiple times a year, hang out, catch up, and it was amazing. And I was like, oh my God, I really miss Ken. So us being able to produce content that is effective, efficient, and being able to actually grow our business rather than just being a time suck is really important right now. And that is why I wanted to talk to you and for us to do this, Ken. So first things first, why do you think we need to be implementing what it is that you are so good at right now?
Yeah, thank you for that. So, there's a lot of things I do, but I realize that one of the biggest frustrations that people face these days is that they see people on Instagram, people who are on social media, and they look so good, and they turn on their webcam and they're like, no, I don't look that good. And it has this effect, like you don't even want to get into that fighting ring, into the arena, because you feel like you can't match up. And the way I see it is this: the Zoom room of today is the business suit of 2020. Like when you first got into business and maybe you're a coach, a trainer or something, you knew you had to look the part. Like if you're in fitness, then you're going to pump up a little bit before you meet your client, right? Or for a photo shoot, right? If you're going to go sign a deal with, with renting a space or a business deal, you're going to iron your clothes, you're going to brush your hair. With girls, you're going to do your makeup, get a blowout. I don't know all the terms, but these are all things you had to learn at an early stage because you understood that those things equate to you having a professional image, to people taking you seriously. And you wouldn't show up to a business meeting where you're about to sign a 7-figure deal with, a tie that's, done crooked, or a shirt that's wrinkly, or unshaven when you should be shaved. Those are all learnable skills. Now that we've gone into 2020, and this right here, what you're seeing in the frame, is your business suit. And you understand, you were never trained by your parents or by your friends in college on how to do the small tweaks that make you look way, way better. And that's what I want to encourage people to do, is just learn these super simple skills, change up the positioning of some things, and you can upgrade your look a lot. So that's what I want to show you, how simple it is. It really is simple.
This is so cool. Okay, dude, I just want to give you reins. Have at it, boss. Take us through what you think we actually need to make this happen.
Sure, absolutely. Now, I didn't realize we were going to do this live, but usually what I do is I usually start with typically what people look like, right? So I turn on, but let me back this up. And Chris, I do have a really short 5-part tutorial series that will actually walk people through how to do this themselves. Would you mind if I were to gift it to your audience?
Dude, I would absolutely love that. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it.
So I'll give you the link for it after this, okay?
Yes.
So basically, the 5 steps are this. Number one is the angle. Now, Chris, I see you've already got the angle right. You've got the camera at roughly your eye level.
Mm-hmm.
And what most people do is they actually start with what I call the nose hair zone. And it usually looks, hold on one second. Let me just put this on what most people look like. And that's it. Yeah, right? So this is what I would call the nose hair zone, because you can practically see my nose hairs. And we want to stay out of this at all costs, because this is just my laptop sitting flat on the table.
Yes.
Now, one thing you can do really simply is measure the distance from the top of your table. And this is my table here, right?
Yep.
I actually measure the distance from that to my eyeball. And then I figure, how can I lift the webcam up to a level that's closer? So step one is lift your webcam up. And I'm going to point that up like that.
Perfect.
And I've got a little sticky thing that sticks right underneath my laptop. And that is, let me see if I can get this centered. There we are. So number one, get at eye level. And that's going to already make a big difference. Now, so that's the angle. Get out of the nose hair zone, get to eye level. Now, number two is really simple too. And it's look for ways that you could get some symmetry, meaning left and right are the same.
Nice. Yes.
Inside your frame. Now I see you've basically got a plain white wall. No problems there. It's very symmetric because there's nothing there.
Plan on one side, but my microphone on the same side. So there's nothing on this side. So there is no
It
symmetry.
would actually be nice if the microphone on one side and the plant on the other.
Yes.
Yeah. And along with symmetry, a little more advanced technique is something called the rule of thirds. And I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but you'll see that if you put some lines, like, if there's one here and here, then roughly my frame is divided into 1, 2, 3 sections. And you're going to typically be in the middle. But you don't want something big right behind your head. You want something supporting you here, but nothing big behind your head, because that's just going to look like a distraction. You don't want that. So that's step two.
Can I interject, Ken, for a second?
Sure.
Like say, like when we're shooting like film, like with the rule of thirds, you'd want to be in the middle of 1/3. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Would that ever apply when doing it like kind of like with the Zoom room, like where maybe I would want to be in the middle of 1/3 and then I've got a supporting base in the background with
very
this
possible
other space?
Yes. So the rule of thirds can be used in a lot of different ways. Sometimes people look for the intersection points, which would be around here, and here, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you want to be right at the intersection points. And what you're talking about there is great. And that's more of like a film making type of experience where you're off to the side, and that's what you would call a cinematic look. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm more of a presenter position, and then you'd want to stay inside the boxes.
Yeah.
So when you're facing the camera, generally, you want to be inside the boxes, between the lines. When you're not facing the camera, you want to be at the intersections. So that's the distinction there that most people use. And when you're building up your studio, thinking about the background, you want to think about how to put things kind of neatly into those boxes.
That is advanced level awesomeness. Okay, that makes great sense. Yes, very good.
Okay. And for you right now, I see that you're very squarely in the middle, which you'd be in the center third. Yes. But your eyes are exactly at the intersection point, right? So I would actually recommend you are a little bit higher inside your frame. And for me, the real simple thing is you put your hand on top of your head, and that's how much space there should be between the top of the frame and your head. So you need to be just a tiny bit higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a comfortable space.
Yeah.
So you could either do that by boosting your chair up higher or tilting the camera down. There's 2 ways to do that.
Amazing. God, Ken, I'm loving this. This is so good. I'm geeking out hard at this. Okay, we've got angle, symmetry. What's number 3?
Right. So the third thing is sound. And I see you've got a microphone there. Your sound is pretty good, but it's quite echoey.
Yeah, everything's
and
super
I think
hard
you're in
in
Bali,
this
is that
room
right?
now. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably concrete walls, right? So, and not too much furniture around, as I can see. So that's going to cause a lot of echo. So number one is try to get an external mic. And I see you've got one right there. And if we want to get more advanced about cutting down echo, it's really simple. It's the more furniture you have in the room, the less echo there is. It's that simple. Yeah. You don't need to go buy this fancy foam padding and stuff unless for some reason you want a really empty room look. then you might want to buy some foam padding to bring the echo down. And that stuff's really cheap. It's like $10 per square meter or something. And you can buy that on Amazon. Since you're going back to Australia, you'll have that available to you.
Thank Christ.
But try to get away from the mic that's built into either the camera that you've got or the laptop or whatever device or your phone. That is okay to start. But if you want to upgrade your look, then yet something external. I have a USB microphone. It's called a Yeti Blue. It just takes one cable, plugs right into my laptop, and that's all it requires. There's no software required.
Amazing, because it sounds incredible, and it's so simple, the setup of it as well. Is that on like a boom?
I've got, let's see if I could point this up in the right direction. What I've got is, this is literally a desk lamp stand. And
dude, that's so smart.
And then I took the lamp off and I stuck the mic on it.
That's so smart. Okay, I love this. Amazing.
So with sound, the rule of thumb is the closer it is to you, the better. But obviously you don't want it to steal the show and get too much into the frame. So keep it squarely into one of the thirds boxes.
Now,
so
I could totally be overthinking this when I was thinking about what our conversation was going to be. What if you used a shotgun mic and that was obviously directed at you?
That can help. Here's the thing. If you have air conditioning or if you have heating or if you have noise around you,
you'll pick it up.
The job of a shotgun mic is to pick up stuff. Let me illustrate this. Are you going to be able to see this recording?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's say you've got your camera here, right? And you've got your shotgun mic on top and you're here. So the job of a shotgun mic is to get everything within this zone and to try to eliminate everything from around here.
Yes.
Okay. So you have to think about not just where you are, but everything behind you, this whole area right here. Oops, I'm kind of going in the wrong direction here. There we go.
Yep.
This whole distance, is there noise behind you? You know, is there going to be people opening the door behind you? Is there a flat wall behind you that's going to cause echo? So if you're using a shotgun mic, then what I do recommend is to take this, change of position. I think that right here, 45-degree angles pointing down, and this is roughly 45, is going to be great. And you want to aim at your chest, not the top of your head. And that's just a kind of a pro tip there. Don't aim at your head, aim at your chest. And the reason for that is because as we talk, we always tend to lean a little bit forward, or like we lean forward and back, right? If it's aimed at your face, the moment you lean forward, it's going to aim at the top of your head, and the sound changes drastically. Aim for your chest, and you'll always be in that safe zone as you lean forward.
Ken, I'm loving this so much. This is incredible. All right, angle, symmetry, sound. What's number 4?
Lights. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to give me 1 second here. I'm going to switch to what a normal ceiling light would look like. Okay, first let's turn off my 3 lights I've got going here. Turn on my ceiling light. Now, this is typical lighting. And you can see me clearly, but you'll see it's very grainy. And it looks just kind of blah. It's normal, right?
Totally. It's like what I look like.
Yeah, this is pretty similar. So tip number 1 is always turn off the ceiling lights. Ceiling lights are the worst thing for videos. So you can see this is normal. I've got a little bit of sunlight coming in from this side. I've got a window over here and just one regular ceiling light. Now I'm going to turn that off and show you what happens. So it gets worse before it gets better, but let's just identify what's going on here when it comes to lighting. First of all, you'll see I've got some decorative lights. There's something that says on air there. I've got some LEDs and things. These are called practical lights. Practical lights means lights that you can see inside the frame, but they don't necessarily light anything inside. You see the lights themselves, not the effect of the light. So those lights don't affect my face, at least not enough to make a big difference. So you want practical lights. It makes the area more interesting. Now, once you've got practical lights, then you want 3 additional lights. And these are lights you can buy for $30 on Amazon, which I'll send the link to inside the tutorials.
Yeah.
And the first one you want to think about is what's called the key light. Now, the position for the key light is really simple. Take your left arm and the distance to your camera should be arm's length.
Okay, yeah.
Use your body. If you can touch it, that's your camera, right?
Yeah.
Now turn 45 degrees left and then 45 degrees up. And exactly at that position is where your key light should be.
Ooh, okay.
And pointing, just using your arm as a line for the direction. Key light means it's the main light that lights most of your face. So remember, 45 left, 45 up, that's the position. Now, you'll see that's quite dramatic, and this side of my face is looking quite dark.
Yep.
And we want to offset that by, again, using your other arm, going 45 right, 45 up, and then we turn on our second light.
Oh, amazing.
Now, the difference between these two lights is that the key light is at 100% strength.
Yeah.
The fill light is at 50% strength.
Ah.
So that you get a little bit of contrast on your face.
Gotcha.
100%, 50%. So you want lights that have dimmers. Now, there's a third light. This is the most basic this is the first lighting technique that professionals learn when they get into it.
This makes such an effect. It's crazy. It always boggles my mind what this one light does.
This is called the backlight. And you don't see it in the frame, but you'll see that it created this glow on kind of the top of my head, the right side, and on my shoulders. And it makes me kind of pop out from the background. You'll see this on, off, on, off. And this is optional, but if you have this third light, then most people won't even know it's there, but they'll think, this looks really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So we've gone to number 4, and that's lighting, right? So we've got 4 types of light. We got your practical lights.
Yeah.
That means lights you can see, but they don't light you, right? They're just there for decoration. You've got your key light, which is the one that is lighting 80% of your face. You've got your fill light, which just makes the shadows less contrasty. And then you've got your backlight. And in the tutorial I'm going to send across, I have diagrams to show exactly how to position these so that they're the exact angle that you want. So that's step number 4. Now the last one this is a bonus, and this could potentially be expensive or potentially free, depending on if you have an old DSLR or mirrorless camera hanging around your house. And most people don't know this, but you can get a simple adapter and plug your camera in to your computer and use it as a webcam. And it'll switch from looking like this, like we have right now, to looking like this.
Yeah. Crazy.
And this is the difference between the built-in camera for I have a MacBook. This is just the built-in webcam. And this is a Sony camera that costs $399 and is plugged in. It's on automatic mode. And you can see it's a bit wider. I like to show a bit more of the room.
Yep.
And the colors are nicer. Everything's just a little bit nicer. The background has this little bit of a blur effect, what we call bokeh within the industry.
Yeah. And
that's it.
So good. This is amazing. And the simplicity in which you have answered this issue, Ken, I really respect, brother, because you've clearly put the time and effort into really put this together.
You want to make it as simple as possible.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions, and I'm going to totally tackle these questions being my selfish self and answering this, because I know that I will literally be buying all of the equipment today. It'll be getting delivered to our new place. So when we actually get in there, I'll be able to set it up. Practical lights. I love the red and blue difference. Is that an actual technique where you're consciously I want 2 different colors?
Yeah, actually, those LEDs in the back, I can control it to be almost any color.
Shut the front door. That's amazing.
The reason why I do this is sometimes there's different moods,
Oh my God.
Sometimes this is neutral, and it's kind of chill, kind of like a beach vibe. Sometimes I'm a little pissed off. And
so good.
Right? So actually, to be honest, it's almost always here. I don't think about it too much. Once or twice I've thought, this topic, without me mentioning it at all, might come across a little differently if I light it red in the background.
Yeah,
so it just helps set the mood.
That's crazy.
Right? So other than that, the other 2 lights are locked in. That's just something that's for a radio station probably.
Yep.
That is something I picked up when I was in France a long time ago, just some old stuff. And these Edison bulbs, Honestly, I just like the look of them. There's
Yeah,
nothing.
I really like the look of those.
Yeah, I picked those up at IKEA, $10 a piece.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, I love this. Now, obviously, the background as well, I love, as in like you've put some thought, like the bookshelf, the domain, and having the spine the same colors. I just totally love that. There's a part of me that just like really, really respects that. So I think having that thought and effort between what is going to be sitting behind you, but I think you framing that thought with the thirds concept is amazing. So that's really smart. How
Yeah.
long would you expect someone to take to actually piece this together? If they're like, Ken, I'm in. Do you mean I'm going to get the stuff, I'm going to get it delivered? How long would it actually take for someone to be able to go, all right, I'm going to set this up and I can rock and roll?
Yeah, really good question. So I've actually done this a lot of times with people. And if you want to do exactly the 5 steps that I showed you, you could do that in a day easily. You're just going to have to look for the right position in your room, order some lights. If it arrives, I don't know, how long does it take in Australia? In Japan, everything's next day.
Okay,
Australia,
a couple
maybe
of
3
days.
days or so.
Yeah, we're further away.
So once it arrives, give yourself a day to set it up. One day to just scope out your room, figure out what's going to be your background, right?
Yes.
And look around your house, look for the stuff you have. Do you have an old DSLR camera? Most people do,
Yep.
And look at the shopping list once it arrives. If you have any tech experience, like if you're familiar with that camera you already own, then it should be a piece of cake.
Yeah.
If you know how to control the aperture, shutter, and shutter speed, aperture, and white balance, that's enough.
Amazing. Okay. There's still 2 other things that pop into my mind. One is, and this is something, again, I asked from my selfish self, when I want to use my iPad, and you switched over before to be able to draw that diagram for us. Yep. How did you actually do that?
So I use a software. It's called Ecamm, ECAMM. It's, I believe it's $10 or $20, depending on if you get the low end or the more expensive one. And this allows me to do all kinds of stuff. For example, when I'm doing live presentations, I put this one at the beginning and I say, hey, everybody, could you see all the corners? Because if you're not in full screen, you're going to miss some important stuff. I might say something like, hey, let's put 3 minutes on the clock for X. And I do have the ability also to show my iPad with my face in it or without.
So good.
So that is really, really helpful.
That is so good.
It's called Ecamm.
Okay, Ecamm. I've already got that. I've already bought the software, so that's good. I've got that one ticked. And are you switching with all of that from your iPad?
I'm switching. There's hotkeys, command, and then a number.
Yep.
That's what I recommend most people start with. If you're finding a limitation, then there is a switcher board you can get, which will control the software, and that's called Stream Deck. Now we're starting to get more advanced, and I don't recommend most people start with this. But if you want a push button experience, then I keep this thing near my desk. Let me get that up there. This here, what happens is every single one of those buttons actually shows a thumbnail for the screen that's going to display.
Yes.
And it's actually live. You can actually kind of see right there the switcher board inside the button itself, right?
Yeah.
So that shows a preview of what's going on. And I can very quickly just switch between scenes because I programmed this device.
Epic. Okay.
And there's no hotkeys and stuff required.
That's really smart. I'm going to get that too. Okay. So then,
by the way, Chris, this is a great way to get, consulting done. I say it's a podcast. I love it.
It totally is, dude. I'm ticking 2 birds with 1 stone right here, and I get to talk to you and catch up. I'm getting 3. We've got the technology, we've got the software, we've got everything set up. We're looking pretty in our frames. Now we've actually got to talk about making use of what we're going to be able to produce. And this is something that we were talking about before we hit record that you're doing oh so well. I would love to be able to dissect and for you to be able to talk about what you're doing with 20X, Ken, because I think this is actually where the rubber meets the road. Like, yes, we can all look good, and that's fantastic, and that matters because then we can produce good looking content. But what do we actually do with the content that we shoot? I think is super important. Would you kindly peel the onion for us about how you actually conceptualized what you're doing with 20X first?
Absolutely. So leading up to COVID, my main business was I get people to pay, a reasonable amount of money to,
Dude, it was a lot.
start.
I'll happily back you up and go, it was a lot of money, and it was very worthwhile because the service you were providing was exceptional.
Thank you for that. So we'd get people, we'd rent like a luxury condo, or sorry, not a condo, an Airbnb,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd trick it out. We'd set up 8 different TV sets in there. We'd rent it for a couple weeks. We'd get about 5 to 6 clients come back to back. They'd spend 2 days each with us, and we'd shoot 52 videos for them. And this was content that we helped plan with them. There's 8 different sets. We cycle the content around so that there's fresh. It always looks fresh on their platforms. Now, I had to stop this obviously because like my crew, I have a film crew in the US and in the States, even they couldn't travel to their clients. Clients did not want to travel anywhere. So I immediately had to start figuring out the next move. And besides actually starting to educate people on how to make money with video on social media, which actually is going quite well. I'm still doing that right now. The next step for my agency, and it took me a while to figure this out. And what I did is I actually went back to all my clients and people who were thinking about working with me. And I asked them, what are the biggest things you need right now? And I had a huge list of what people wanted. And then I thought to myself, I got to engineer this backwards. I got to figure out what they want first. Instead of assuming I'm smarter, and sometimes I am, but sometimes I'm not. But instead of assuming, I want to take their ideas and see if I could package that into something. And we conceptualized something called 20X Agency, because I realized that with every piece of content that I help a client to produce, I can actually take that video and turn it into 20 different creatives. Now we're going all the way from, short form, like super short form video on Instagram, and then short form on Facebook, long form on YouTube, business articles written for LinkedIn, quote cards for all the platforms, photos with articles posted to blogs, and then going into podcasts. It's basically the full range. But a lot of people have 2 or 3 of those components in place. So we basically have an a la carte system. We say, look, do you want help with doing a Zoom room makeover? I did consulting, and what I showed you right now is the Cliff Notes version, but a lot of people want a custom plan.
Yeah.
I walk around their room with them using an iPhone, and then we talk about what color to paint the wall, where to place the logo, what type of background is really going to support their brand. So we design this room for them, give them a shopping list so they can source locally. Once they get it, they set up. Now they're feeling confident, and they're feeling like they want to use the studio so much more because it looks great, right? And all the recording and the systems are there. So we actually literally install a system inside their computer so that when they sit down, they hit one button, they speak for as long or short as they want. They can be going live to Facebook or YouTube or just recording. And as soon as it's done, then that gets sent to our systems back in, where my team is. And then we start processing this in all the different ways that they want. So if they chose the podcast, then they're going to get that. If they chose just the videos created and sent to them so they can post it, they get that. If they wanted the videos to send to them to be approved and then posted to social media for them, they get that. So it's just a menu item of how can I fill in all the gaps that are currently that you're not being served in, create a bundle package, and then do this for you on a month-by-month basis. So that's what 20X Agency is. And, unlike other people where they say, I hear the word 10X so much and it's so much hyperbole, I thought I need to quantify that. I will at least, I can say these are the 20 different things that I've created for you out of the one video you gave me. So I can definitively say that we 20X your content for you in that many ways. So that's what it's about. It's a very, very premium offering. I don't think that if people don't have a business yet, it's probably not a good place to start. You want to know how to actually turn this attention into some business for you. Like you have a funnel, a lead magnet, and once you've got it in place and you see that's converting, then you're going to want to probably work with me or figure this out on your own. Figure out how to produce on a mass scale at a high quality and flood all the markets all the time. And that's what 20X Agency is.
Absolutely genius, Ken. Like honestly, absolutely genius. And I talk about properly serving the market and you being like at the pivotal point of being able to do it. I'm so impressed and I absolutely love it because I just see like us as business owners, this is what we need. Like this is the problem because I know I've spent hours and hours that I would not want to count up that would be wasted on producing content that either wasn't good or especially not putting too many or too much focus into producing like one piece of content, but not being able to multiply that out to be able to go out onto all the platforms as well. So this is really, really smart. One more question, Ken. When it comes to say shooting content, if someone's like, Ken, this is amazing. I'm going to set this stuff up. I know that I need to be able to multiply my content out. I'd love to know because you get a behind the scenes, like in the trenches look of so many people producing so much content. I think your viewpoint is like worth a lot when it comes to this question I'm going to ask, which is where do people go wrong when it comes to them sitting down or standing up at their stand-up desk to shoot and actually get their content created? Because obviously, do you mean if someone's giving you a 30-minute piece of garbage, yes, you can turn it into 20 like pieces of content, but it needs to be good content to actually begin with as well. How do you actually help people make sure that they're producing good quality content?
Sure. I think the biggest mistake that people make all the time is they think they need a script or a teleprompter. And if you start with a script or a teleprompter and you don't have years of training, then you're going to come across as wooden and unnatural and really hard to trust. Because when people connect with you, when you want to get them to know, like, and trust you on video, which is the intention, the biggest determining factor of that is if you're coming from your gut or if you're coming from your head. If you're coming from a purely intellectual standpoint, especially, and I'm not talking about people who go viral for the sake of going viral. I'm talking about businesses who are serious about generating leads and sales with video. And if that's you, then the intention of every video is to see how quickly could you drop from thinking about what you're going to say to sharing from your gut what needs to be said. And there's a really big shift that happens and people feel it. So number one, don't use scripts, don't use teleprompters. So the next natural question might be, so what am I supposed to do? I don't think we have time for this right now, but I have a system called Hilda. And once I explain it, it's really hard to unsee, but I've helped some really high profile people to start creating their social media content using this format. And you won't unsee it once I explain it. And I'm not sure, maybe we could work out something where I could send them to a training or something, but you need a framework. And Hilda basically looks like this. You got 3 seconds to hook them in, grab their attention. You got about 3 seconds again to introduce yourself, tell them who you are and how you help people, and then lead their anticipation by telling a story, right? Then deliver some value bombs right there, and then ask for the right thing at the end. And when you do these 5 things in this order consistently, and remember that you're not there to show off your knowledge. You're not there to get more followers. You're there to address a frustration that's already going on right now inside of their body or their head, and enter that conversation that's already happening and present them with, it's a pointer in the right direction. Hey, this might help you. Hey, does this make sense? Hey, I tried this, it didn't work. I tried this and this did work. And when you start coming across in that format, then people lower their guards, they let you in, and they feel like your extended family at some point if you're doing this right.
So good. Ken, this has been absolutely amazing. There's a few things I just want to highlight that you so humbly kind of went over that we've touched on in this conversation, which was originally the agency that you were running was you would have someone for 2 days and you'd get 52 pieces of content, like individual pieces of content. So 52 videos shot for someone in just 2 days because you had the setup and systems being able to rock and roll. Now That's with correct. What you're doing with 20X agencies, you're able to pull 20 pieces of content from one video, correct. Which is absolutely amazing. And so this is where like you've been able to join the dots so well. And I really hope the dots join in the listener's mind right now, because this is where someone start going, I don't know what to produce on content, or how much should I be producing, or it's taking too much of my time, or what do I actually do with it, or where should I post it, and when do I? These are the things that you're solving so well. And I know we've just lit the kind of the top of it to be able to get this done. But this has been amazing, Ken. I really appreciate you sharing everything today. Where do people go to actually find out more about this and to be able to get more of what you're actually doing?
I think the best place to start is inside my free Facebook group. I've got some of those trainings that I mentioned to you early in there. It's www.getleadswithvideo.com. That's going to redirect you into my Facebook group. And I think that's probably the best place. That's where I'm the most current. And, web pages are almost dead, like everything happens on social media. So that's where I put most of my attention to.
Okay, amazing. So in the show notes, I'm going to make sure that the link to that is in there as well. I'll also put the training to get access to what you were talking about. I'm also going to as well with this piece of content is I'm going to link in. So we have the before effect, and then I'll put in the after effect as well. So we can see the actual difference of actually applying everything that Ken's taken through us today. Dude, I love you, man. I've got so much love and respect for you. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. And I'm really looking forward to chatting with you soon.
Awesome. You too. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Here's the setup, and here's everything followed through with what Ken has shared in this episode. And to be perfectly honest, it was super simple. And as you can see, it looks absolutely amazing. This is literally being able to have a studio set up in your home office. This is my office right now, everything that I need, and I'm being able to produce this content to be able to share this with you right now with really little friction, because I know so much when it comes to you being able to shoot videos, get posts out, do live streams, get all those things up. It can be really hard, especially when there's a lot of friction when it comes to you getting set up, making sure everything looks right, making sure you can get it out. And here right now, I've got 2 lights, I've got a camera, I've got a lens that makes it look good, I've got a microphone, I've got it set up with some software, and I'm able to share this with you. So I highly recommend that you follow everything that we followed and gone through with Ken in this episode, so you can be able to set up the system that really importantly gets you to share your message with your market, that gets you out into the world, that gets you attracting in the people that you really want to help, and gets you to be able to separate yourself from your competition so you can get more clients, build a business and a life that you really love. So there you have it. And as always, thank you so much for being here. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.